Welcome back to Anvil Airsoft TV in association with TaiwanGun.com. In this episode we're going to be looking at and range testing the GR16 MOD5 from Arcturus. This is a replica of the HK416 A5 assault rifle as used by armed forces all over the world. Keep watching, find out more about it, how it performs and just how far it can shoot. TaiwanGun.com have sent me this Arcturus GR16 MOD5 for me to review for their channel. So let's take a look at what you get in the box. Of course, you get the replica itself. You get a mid-capacity magazine. This one takes around 130 BBs, but can also be limited internally to 30 BBs. We'll show you how to do this later in the episode. A cleaning rod, a spring change tool and some small Allen keys, a manual and TaiwanGun.com test certificate. Also got the stock spring as TaiwanGun.com downgraded it to comply with UK law before it was shipped to me. The replica is made from alloy die castings, aluminium extrusions, polymer injection mouldings and also some steel parts. The alloy and aluminium parts include the handguard, outer barrel, gas block, upper and lower receivers, backup sights, the stock tube and the charging handle. The steel parts include the flash hider, gas regulator, parts of the imitation gas piston under the handguard, the barrel nut, the takedown pins, the mag release, the bolt release, the castle nut and the sling plate. The polymer parts include the stock, pistol grip, ejection port cover and the selector levers. Internally we have a true quick change spring system, a bearing spring guide, bearing piston head, full steel teeth polycarbonate piston, steel gears, 8mm bushings and a Microswitch trigger. To launch the BB on its way, we have a metal rotary hop-up chamber with a precision 6.01mm steel barrel. There is also a black version of the GR16 MOD5 if the 50 Shades of FDE model doesn't appeal to you. Take a look at that if it's more to your liking. So let's have a look at the features of the GR16 MOD5. We'll go tip to butt as usual. Starting with a flash hider, we find a steel A2 birdcage. This unscrews in a clockwise direction to reveal standard Airsoft 14mm negative thread. This will allow you to fit suppressors and tracer units. At the end of the outer barrel is a recessed O-ring. This allows you to correctly time the flash hider when you screw it back on again. Moving back, we have the mock gas regulator. This has two positions, normal and suppressed. It can be moved without the use of a tool. The setting doesn't have any effect on the replica's operation, but it's great that it's been included. The handguard has M1913 rails at the 12, 3 and 9 and 6 o'clock positions and is very rigid. It comes with a flip-up front iron sight. It's integrated into the rail and can be moved up and down easily. To remove the rail, you undo this bolt here using a large flathead screwdriver. Be careful not to lose the locating blocks when you do so. These mount onto the rail with these two steel locating pins. These can fall out, so be very careful with them. Once you've removed the bolt and the blocks, you can slide the rail off the steel barrel nut. This reveals the mock gas block and the short stroke gas system. This has been replicated in high quality materials in several sections and can be removed if needed for cleaning. As the gas system can't be seen when the handguard is installed, this is fantastic attention to detail. To reinstall, just reverse the process. The top rail is continuous into the upper receiver to provide a lot of mounting space for optics and accessories of your choice. At the back is the rear backup iron sight. This can be adjusted for windage via this dial on the side, and for elevation by lifting up the peep sight and turning it. The sight is clearly marked so you know which way to do it. It can be removed by pushing back on this lever here and rotating it off. The controls will be familiar to anyone that has used an AR style replica before. The steel mag release is ambidextrous, and it's easy to use by both left and right-handed players. In addition, the shape of the mag well has been changed from earlier HK416 replicas. This makes it compatible with a wider range of magazines. There is a unique serial number on the trigger guard. This has been enlarged to allow bigger gloves to be used in winter. The supplied magazine is a mid-cap with a capacity of 130 bbs. You can also set it to a realistic 30 bbs by pressing down on this latch and removing the base plate. You can then slide out the inner shell with these tabs, and you'll then see this button, which can be pressed down firmly and slid across to change the capacity. There is a marking so you'll know what setting you're on. The fire selector is also ambi and has safe, semi and automatic settings. Pulling back on the charging handle reveals the rotary style hop-up unit. To add hop, you turn the dial downwards, and to remove hop, you turn it upwards. Once you've set the hop to your satisfaction, you can use the bolt release to close the mock bolt cover. This again is on both sides. The pistol grip has a more vertical angle than traditional AR grips. This is more comfortable to use for most people, and certainly for me, helps to avoid wrist ache after a long day's playing. At the rear of the receiver is a steel plate with sling points on both sides. The stock nut is oversized for strength and is part of the quick change spring system. You unscrew it using an armourer's tool and then twist off the stock tube to reveal the back of the gearbox and the removable spring guide. The stock mounts very securely onto the buffer tube with virtually no wobble and has 6 positions. All the way in, all the way out, and there are also 4 intermediate positions. You move the stock via this latch here. To access the battery compartment, pull back on this tab here at the base of the stock and slide down. Space is a bit limited and you'll need a battery that can slide into the stock tube itself. The connector is mini Tamiya. So now we've talked all about the features of the GR16 MOD5, let's take it to the range and see how it performs. Welcome back to Thurlaston Airgun and Archery Centre, where we're going to range test the Arcturus. To do that, I'm using these electronic attack sense targets that flash when they're struck by a BB. That way, you know, and I know when I've hit the target. Today we're going to have them at 30, 40, 50, 60 and 70 metres. Let's get going. Right, let's set the hop. So we've got a rotary hop behind the door. Adding a hop is down. Okay, let's see where we are. Definitely need some more hop on that. So hop is set to 0.25 Gram Bbs. We'll do a chrono check. 300, 300, 301, 301, 298, 299, 299, 303, 300. Okay, pretty consistent. And let's start our effective range test. I think we can safely say it's effective at 30 metres with 0.25 Gram Bbs. .40 metres effective, let's go for 50. I can't make them consistently, so now we'll try a maximum range test on full auto bursts. Just past the 50, I can see a hare. Not shooting at the hare, he's in the next field. So effective range with a 0.25 gram BB is 40 metres and maximum range is around 53 to 55 metres. Okay, so now we're going to try the 0.28 gram BB. I'll set the hop, chrono, and then we'll go for range. 270, 270, 269, 271, 271, 268, 270, 269, 270, 270. Well, that was extremely consistent and about 270 FPS. Let's do the range test. Okay, 40 metres, 30 metres doddle. Okay, effective at 40 metres, let's try 50. Okay, effective at 50 metres. Let's try 60. Okay, although I've got a couple of hits at 60, I can't land them consistently, and I'm having to start to hold over slightly. So let's try maximum range. So with the 0.28 gram BB, we've got an effective range of 50 metres, and the BBs are landing for maximum range at around 60-61 metres. They're kind of falling out of the sky. Let's move on to the 0.3s. Okay, so now we're going to move on to 0.3 gram BLS Precision Bbs. As the Air Force goes over, hop set for 0.3s, and we're going to chrono. 258, 261, 259, 258, 261, 263, 259, 262, 261, 262, 30 metres. Let's go for the 40. Okay, it's 40 effective. Let's go for 50. Okay, effective at 50. Maybe not quite as good as the 2.8s in this. So I get an occasional hit at 60. Let's do a full auto test and see how the maximum range is. So with a 0.3 gram BBs, we've got an effective range of 45 to 50 metres and a maximum range of 59 to 60 metres. So the range is just dropping off a bit. We'll have a go with the 3.2s and see how we do with those. We can overhop 0.32s, 243, 246, 245, 244, 249, 246. So we're down to about 0.85, 0.9 joules now. So power is definitely dropping off. Let's do our final test of the day. It's 30 metres, easy. 40 metres. 40 metres is easy, effective. 50 metres with a 0.32 gram BB. Okay, so it's effective at 50 metres with a 0.32 gram BB. Actually seems to really like this BB weight. Let's try and stretch it out to 60. So I can hit the target at 60 metres fairly regularly, but I am having to use quite a lot of holdover. So I'm holding the crosshairs of the scope a couple of target heights above the target to make that hit. So that's not really an effective shot, as we like to shoot flat. So now we'll try a maximum range. Okay, so again, if I use holdover, I can push the range out. But what we like to do is shoot flat. And if I shoot flat, the BBs are landing somewhere between 55 and 60 metres. So although the 0.32 gram BBs are more accurate, you'll get more range out of using a 0.28 or 0.3 gram BB. Okay, so today we're on the workbench, looking at the GR16 MOD5 from Arcturus. Let's see what makes it tick. Just get the stock off, use the latch as normal, and then lift this secondary lever here. Goes off. And then spin it off. Next thing, pull the plate back. And you can just turn the stock tube. This is a cap that covers the spring guide back of the gearbox. I'll spin that off. Once it's loosened, you can just take it off your fingers. Once you've got the stock tube and this butt cap off, you can see the back of the spring guide. If you reverse the spring guide and use these two lugs, they interface with the slot on the spring guide. Push it in, rotate it quarter of a turn, rescrewing the little butt cap in, a few turns, giving it a little wiggle means you get the spring guide out. Okay. Separate the upper from the lower. So the takedown pin is captive, and we can just slide the two parts away from each other, clockwise or down for more hop, and counterclockwise or up for less hop. Okay, that's your base plate. Adjustment motor height screw is in a brass insert. Take out two screws at the bottom of the pistol grip. So always make sure your driver fits the fasteners really well. Don't want to strip them. It's interesting. Okay, that's really cool. Really interesting feature I've just seen. So if we look at the bottom of the trigger guard here, there's a hole that goes through, which I suspect is going to be connected to the anti-reversal latch, and that means if your gearbox locks up like version 2 gearboxes can, if you're spamming the trigger and you can't get it to shift by going to full auto, you can trip the anti-reversal latch and release the gearbox from the exterior of the gun. So to take the bolt release off, just put a small Allen key in, carefully push out this retainer here. Easy enough to get out. If you push down on the bolt release on the other side, this just pulls through. Let's get the mag catch out, push it through from this side, and then pulling up, unwind it off the thread. So there's a spring and a plunger on the underside of these. Be careful not to lose them. Just going to put them back together again. No detent on this side. I've got the gearbox out. I had to take the little plastic lever arm off the anti-reversal latch release to do so. So you might need to do that too. And when you do, just take note of which orientation these ambi selector gears are in. This is currently in semi-automatic position. Just put a finger over the spring to make sure we don't lose it. And then we're ready to disassemble the gearbox and have a look. This is the gearbox shell. It's quite substantial and heavy. Big bit of a big casting. Let's look at the compression parts. So, O-ring nozzle. Good compression. This is your piston. Steel rack, and this tooth not present to help with pickup. Coated brass cylinder, no sharp edges inside, nice and smooth. Polymer cylinder head, aluminium vented piston head, bill gear, sector gear, layer chip, and your spur gear. We do have a Microswitch trigger. This is a proprietary gearbox shell, and the anti-reversal latch is on the opposite side to normal. And indeed, this goes through and is tripped by that little latch that we showed you earlier. Let's put you back together and check the shimming. So we've got bushings in sector and spur gear and a bearing over the bevel. Gears are turning nicely, even with the anti-reversal latch in place. There's a tiny bit of play, but very, very little, and I'd rather have that than it be shimmed too tight. Okay, so let's do some final thoughts. So this is a nicely built, strong looking gearbox with some nice unique features like the anti-reversal latch lever, wiring cutouts, quick change spring. Castings seem nice and it's reinforced quite heavily over the areas where the stress is. It is a proprietary gearbox, but that really shouldn't be a problem. I hope you enjoyed this overview and range test of the Arcturus GR16 MOD5, courtesy of TaiwanGun.com. We think it's a solidly built, well-performing replica of the HK416 A5. Fantastic for anyone wanting to do a modern military loadout. If you want to see more from me, then head over to Anvil Airsoft TV on YouTube, and you'll find more than 100 videos to watch on a huge range of subjects. Thanks again to TaiwanGun.com for making this review possible. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.